Hi, it is Justin Prime. Welcome to my weekly episode of the Jprimecast, wherein I take stock of my progress through the week and do a few other nifty things. This is episode number 15. Welcome. So welcome everybody. That again is Banjo Beats with Day Beers. He did a few different versions of that for me, and that one's become my favorite. So that is the definite intro to the weekly segment here. I love that. So it's called Day Beers Revisited, and by Banjo Beats. I'll put a link in the description. A lot of stuff to get to today. A lot of stuff. I've eliminated the topical topic, and I will have perhaps a separate episode dedicated to where I talk about something. If you really want to know what I know about something, you can go to my new blog. I've got a few entries there. A couple of them are topical, and a couple of them are stream of consciousness things, and I'll talk about that more as we go on. So yeah, no topical thing that's been replaced with announcements. And this is different week to week. Oh, but before I get to the announcements, we have to look and see who this episode is dedicated to. So that means I need to go into my Instagram account. Sorry, and you guys can hear everything I'm doing here. Let's just consider that audio texture. So we go into my Instagram account. And the last person to interact with me is Sukato Studios, SUKOTTO Studios. There will be a link to him. He's actually a new follower. And actually his name will be popping up later on in the episode as well. But Sukato Studios, thank you for popping up in my newsfeed and being a new follower, and for the brief DM exchange that really meant a lot to me. So to know that, I'll talk about that later. All right, a lot of heavy breathing so far. This is going well. So announcements. This is really actually more of a request. Please, a few of you have left me really wonderful reviews on iTunes. Thank you so much for that. From what I understand, that the iTunes reviews are really, really, really important as far as like what number I show up on when people search, or I don't know, whatever. So please, 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 if you listen on iTunes, which most of you do, or through iOS, I don't know if you can leave a review through iOS, but please leave me a review. It helps out a lot, and it makes me feel really good if it's good. But if you think my show sucks, then say that. I don't care. That's fine. So yeah, it makes a big difference. Please, 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 please. And I hate asking for stuff, but I'm asking. Yeah, almost half of my listeners, according to the Anchor stats, are from iTunes. So I've realized that I kind of need to focus my efforts a lot on there with meta tags and making sure I have catchy titles and whatnot. So the reviews, I mean, that's where you can come in if you want to help out, so you're a big part of that. Second announcement is June Tune is underway, and I really want to support Hero Artist. I always want to call him Haro Artist. Hero Artist. He's in my Discord community. He's a good guy, great artist, and he and a few others put together June Tune, hashtag June Tune, hashtag June Tune 2018. So that's going on. Pitch in. I did a couple of them. I did day 1, day 2. Today's day 3, and it wasn't going to happen today. This was all family day. We were out doing stuff, and then came home and barbecued and did the bedtime routine. There was zero time for me to draw today, and now I'm doing Well, actually, after the kids went to bed, I went to the garage and cut up some cardboard because we have so much of it every week. And now I'm doing this, or I showered and now I'm doing this. So yeah, today that just wasn't going to happen. So, but I busted out a couple, and those were fast, and it was fun. And it gets new eyeballs on it because people that look at the June Tune hashtag, and I know there's some people doing that because I've gotten a couple new followers, I think, from that. So it's good. Yeah, pitch in on June Tune. Just do a sketch of your favorite cartoon. I do 80s stuff. Right now, I'm focusing on He-Man. I'd like to do a couple more at least. And yeah, Sean Galloway is doing it, which is tremendous. So it's cool to see a really big name like that doing some June Tune stuff and really kind of building a new monthly, one of those new monthly things. But I think June Tune's a good one. And the last announcement is I have a new Instagram account. It is at AstroPig. Actually, I'm sorry, I don't have a new Instagram account. AstroPig does. It's an Instagram account from him through his point of view, pictures he takes. He doesn't use a phone though. He has his suit somehow hacked into Instagram and all of the internet, and he doesn't need to have a rectangle he carries around and types into. His fingers, his little stubbies wouldn't be able to handle it anyway. So Astropig, ASTR0PI6, Astropig. You see what I did there? And the reason for that is because he has a 06 on his back. So yeah. So yeah, there's a new Instagram account from his point of view. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm figuring it out. I'll talk more about that later on as well. But yeah, Astropig, new Instagram account. My major goals. This is something if you've listened, this is something I don't want to say struggled with, but I recognize that I have not had a larger goal when it comes to art. Besides, I just want to create. At first, it was Sculptor Stories, and then now it's Astropig. But I've never had a bigger goal as far as finances or making a living off of this. That's not something that interests me terribly. It's just been more about creating and having fun. That's been my only goal. And then more recently, well, since the podcast, really, community building has been a big goal of mine as well. And then giving and a couple other things. But as far as bigger goals for my art, being able to see 5 years in the future, that did not exist. But I think I know what I want. At least a piece of it. I want Astropig to get published. I'm not going to publish it. I don't want to do Kickstarter for it. I don't want to print it out and then try and sell it. I have no interest in that at all. I'd rather give it away for free than do all that stuff. I hate it. I don't like doing that stuff. And it's not a strength of mine. But I think Astropig is going to be pretty darn good. And I think it'll be worth getting published at a scale bigger than I can do it. So a big goal of mine is to get this thing published by somebody else, not somebody, but a reputable big publishing company or something, And I'm not gonna let my timidity, is that a word, stop me there. I want to think bigger than I usually would or do. So yeah, I want to get Astropig published, and I want to see merchandise. I want to see all that stuff. I want to see him have a cartoon show or a movie on Netflix or whatever. That's my goal. I want I want all that. I want all that merchandising stuff. I want Astropig to have a very, very big audience. So there you go. New major goal. I have 3 now. So Astropig getting published and becoming just a dominant force in culture. And then community building is, of course, a major goal of mine. And mentorship is another major goal of mine. So these aren't things, actually, community building does happen day to day. Mentorship is not a day-to-day thing, but it is something I would like to continue to build. And right now that's just, my time with Brendan, which is ending very soon. But being a mentor long term is something I'd like to do. But that, for me, honestly, I'm realizing that can only really happen at the scale that I want it to if when I complete Astropig. And then especially when I get that thing published and turned into a staple of our lives. A staple of our lives. I like that. All right, so there you go. There's the announcements. There's my goals. Got a new goal for you this week, and that's new for me to think bigger, But that's honestly what I want. That is what I want. It's been in the back of my head for a while, but it just feels weird to admit it because it seems silly. And I think I've realized recently that I simply have not thought bigger than what was planned out for me in my life. And I think, as I said pretty in depth in episode 9.5, I've just followed my life script. And so thinking outside of college and career and family, thinking bigger than that is not something I was trained to do. And nobody modeled that for me. So that's not a skill I have, I guess. But I think I'm getting there. So that'll be a process that will unfold week to week, and you'll be a part of that. All right, so the artist inventory challenge. This is my personal artist inventory challenge. I'm going to be drinking water. It is hot as heck. Oh man, sorry. Yeah, I'll be drinking water through the cast. It's been like 100 degrees today. Too much. All right, so personal artist inventory challenge. My projects are Astropig, as you know, and community building. Those are my two projects, and that is it. And specifically with Astropig, it's finishing the book. Yeah, right now it's just finishing the book. So with community building, that means I'm doing that through the podcast and through my Discord community. And now I have an Astropig community that I'm going to build through his Instagram account. So let's talk about this in depth here. This is his personal account. The backstory here is there will be a story. Each post is going to be a part of a piece of a bigger story. The story here is he's visiting Earth, and he is documenting his time on Earth, which is what he does with every planet he goes to. He documents. He talks to his recorder. It's just something like a recorder he has in his suit. He talks into his recorder to record and document everything he sees. He catalogs it. He names things. He describes things. He takes guesses as to what they do or how they function, or he documents how he feels about stuff too. So far on Earth, he likes wild cherry Pepsi a lot. He is surprised by how much concrete there is. He didn't expect that. And he's really noticing how human parents interact with their kids. So that's the story. Is he's visiting Earth and he's documenting. And I didn't know how to handle this account, and I figured I'll just figure it out as I go, which is kind of my way of doing things now. Just trial by fire or learning through the process. So where was I? So I figured out, what, he's not just here, but he's with me and my family. He's hanging out with me and my family. And actually, no, hold on. Let me slow down here. So this is his personal account, but there's a bigger idea here. This is sort of an experimental thing, and I don't know if anyone's ever done this before. They probably have, but I don't know. But I want this to be a crowd-funded Instagram account. What that means is that I want to have somebody different that posts on behalf of Astropig. It's his account, but like 1 week I want to have somebody running the account, posting a picture and leaving a description, which I will coach them through every step of the way. The idea here is I want Astro to visit different parts of Earth. So right now he's in Stockton, California with me, but he could go to Japan or Hawaii. I have actually someone going to Hawaii that is willing to document and take Astropig with him to Hawaii. So Astropig will be in Hawaii in a few weeks. And I have all these fans and followers and people that are super cool that I think would be into this, so I think I want to start there. And that's what I mean by crowdfunded, or it's a crowd activity with people that I trust, obviously. But Yeah, so I want him to visit different parts of the United States and of the world, and I want the people from those areas to take pictures of their life in a way, or of their day-to-day activities. So right now he's with my family, but maybe he could be with someone else's family in, I don't know, Australia. I'll put that out there right now. That'd be a lot of fun. And then he'll be there for, I don't know, a week or so, and he'll meet someone else's family and see what they do for a living and learn from them. Or if someone wants to take over the account that I know, and they say I'm not comfortable with showing my family and stuff, of course not. That's fine. But they could pretend to be Astro for a week, maybe just post once a day for a week, and still show their community, their location, or something interesting that's happening. I don't know, whatever, or just, I don't know, random stuff of the area. Like Astro Pig took a picture of wild cherry Pepsi, and he calls it the beverage of the gods, which it is. Which it is. It's amazing, but not warm, only iced. Iced. I guess that's true for most sodas. Root beer I can do warm, not warm, but room temperature. But wild cherry Pepsi, really, it has to be on ice. So that's the crowd-funded experimental Instagram page or profile of Astropig. That's what I want. But like I said, right now he's here with me. And what's more is that Astro has actually allowed me to illustrate his adventures. So now there's like a meta story, where I'm not just making up this character, but this character is visiting Earth, and not this character, but this pig, this Astro Pig, is visiting Earth, and I just stumbled across him and invited him to live with me and my family, to give him some shelter, because Stockton is a scary place. Let's be honest. And he agreed, and in return, he said, I will tell you fantastic and wonderful stories about my travels." So he's telling me those, and he's allowing me to illustrate them into book form. Um, yeah, and he's giving me a little bit of artistic license also. So I thought that was kind of cool. That's kind of fun, right? So now I'm a part of his profile. He mentions me every now and then, and he'll get maybe a page update here and there that he can share with people in between his posts of Wild Cherry Pepsi and playgrounds and whatnot. Um, so yeah. So right now he's learning a lot about kids and parents. They have kids and parents from where he's from, but not human ones. So he's learning more about how humans do things. And there you go. So he's been very active on social media recently. He has been posting at least once a day for the past few days, ever since it started, and he's leaving lots of comments to other people. And in particular, he's looking up hashtag kid lit. It's like kids literature, and he's commenting on other artists, and people post about kids literature stuff. But he actually Astro talks to his recorder all the time. So when he leaves comments, he's actually talking to his recorder or to the person posting, but it's always to his recorder, really. So I think that people are getting kind of confused by this, but they'll know what's up eventually. He really likes other people's artwork. He's into art. He's into kids literature art, especially. And he likes kids' books. He thinks they're pretty neat. He thinks they're fascinating. They have great artwork and wonderful stories. A lot of the stories and characters remind him of travels he's been on, and he'll leave comments every now and then saying, this reminds me of the creatures from whatever planet. He knows of the Ewoks. He had met the Ewoks. He says they're horrible creatures, and they are. He left a comment for someone on about that. So he's popping up on Instagram in a big way, and his social filter is not that great. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. And then he's been pretty active in DMs. Everyone that's followed him, he's almost at 40 followers already. Everyone that follows him is getting not a thank you, but he says something like, "You are now." What is it? What the hell is it? Let me look up the DM he sent me to see the exact wording here, because it's totally Astrobig. I'm still here. Silence. little bit of silence for you. All right, so the hell? There it is. He says, "You're now following my adventure on this planet. I have logged it for the recorder." And then he asks, "What do you have for me that I may record?" So that gives new followers a chance to teach him something. And he's had some interesting exchanges already. People have asked him if he knows what bacon is, and he does not appreciate that. He is. People have asked him. Someone's asked him if he knows what love is, and that made him very uncomfortable. For some reason, he doesn't like talking about that stuff. But yeah, he's had some interesting conversations with people already. Someone talked to him about loneliness and that the quietest people are not necessarily the most timid. Something like that. I forgot what it was, but he's had some interesting conversations already. So hit up Astropig, follow him, have a little chat with him. So yeah, Astropig, there you go. So that's a new way that I'm building communities through Astropig himself, which will circle back to the art of Justin Prime because I am illustrating his adventures. All right, so what obstacles were there this week? For Astropig, nothing really. The only obstacle, and I'm sorry to say this, Harold, but June Toon was a small obstacle, not much, but I did give it a decent little chunk of time. I did like a pencil sketch or a digital pencil sketch. The past couple days, I gave it a little chunk of time, maybe 20 or 30 minutes a day. Not much, but that is time that could have gone toward Astropig. But I'm glad I did. It really kind of allowed me to flex my sketching muscles and to draw something besides Astropig, which is good. Just kind of reset the brain every now and then, or I guess a couple, once every day, for 2 days. And it was something different for my followers. I know people want that stuff from me. It's Astropig's his the amount of interaction he's gotten is definitely lower to me doing fan art. So I got this June Toon is allowing me to do some fan art and also kind of pitch in and help out with what Harold and his crew are doing, which I feel good about. And so I got a couple new followers, probably from fan art, from the June Toon stuff. Got some good comments, got some good, some likes, more likes than I've gotten with Astropig, honestly. So that's all nice. It feels good. It's nice. It's nice. So with Astropig, there really weren't any significant obstacles besides just daily living, having a family, working, that kind of stuff. With community building, man, last week's episode I thought was kind of subpar. IMO. That means, in my opinion. Yeah, it was I don't know. I felt like I dropped the ball last week. I don't know what it was. I don't know. But yeah, I don't think last week was a good solid showing of what I can do on a podcast. It was I feel like it was a low point. So no more of that. I think I need to just better prepare or something. I think last week I was a bunch of changes I wanted to make last second, and that really threw me off. Community building obstacles for Astropig. I know what he sounds like. I know how he talks, but doing it in real time through DMs or leaving comments or figuring out what my description in a post is going to say, that's different than writing a script for a book where it's all my creations. So who he's talking to or listening to all comes from me. But when someone's DMing me back and forth, it's really on the fly. So that's a really good exercise for me to figure out more about Astropig, and I feel like I've learned about him already through that process. So that's an obstacle in a way because it's a little bit, I'm stumbling around, it feels like, but also it's a strength too. It's a win. Also, another obstacle for community building. I have started a blog. I have 4 posts there and a couple that are in draft mode that I want to flesh out. The obstacle here is that I suck. It's not good. The first 2 topical posts that I made, I think the ideas are interesting, but I don't think my delivery was very good. Honestly, I think the first one was kind of douchey. Like the content didn't have to be, but the way I rolled it out, not that great. And then the second one, I don't even remember what the topic was. Like that's how bad it was. But that's the obstacles. I suck. The obstacle there is I suck. All right, so successes for Astropig. Continuing to complete pages. I think I completed one more, and then I have a double page spread that I've been working on pretty much the whole week, which is close-ish to done. I have to add some creatures in, and that'll be about it. Um, yeah, that's taken a long time, but there's a lot of love that's going into it, and I'm fine with that because I want to get it right. Um, and by right I mean just I want to feel like it's done, and I haven't gotten to that point yet. But I'll know when it's done. Um, but yeah, I have a good pace, and I'm happy with it. The Astropig is right now I feel like it's pretty dynamic, or at least getting there. It's fun. I think the colors and the life in it. I think there's a lot of life in it. I think it's a good word. So I'm very pleased with the way Astropig is coming out overall. I'm having so much fun with it, man. I love it. For the recent, so now for the a little bit more in depth here. For the double page spread that I'm doing, I've really prioritized it first and primarily as a landscape. It's these rolling hills with clouds in the sky and clouds on the ground that are rolling over the rolling hills. And the clouds kind of all go toward a specific vanishing point to really kind of make your eye go that way across the two pages. And I wanted to create a bigger sense of scale than I usually do, because usually I draw too big and I focus on the character first and then the environment around them. But with this one, I'm doing the environment and then including the characters pretty darn small because I want them to feel small compared to the landscape. It's a landscape shot. Excuse me. So this is the opposite than what I usually do, and I think it was the right route to go for this particular spread. And I think I'll do one more spread right after it with the same method, but a different landscape. Yeah, so I think it's worked out really. I'm loving the way that it's looking. So another little in-depth thing here about process. I prioritized create. Actually, I think I've been doing this the whole book, but I really this for this double page spread. I think it's a good example. I prioritize creating over thinking about what it should and shouldn't be. I've noticed that the creative process for Astropig has been pretty smooth, but there have been points where I just stop and I get stuck and I'm just like staring at the darn screen. And that's wasting time. And I'm realizing that it's not productive, and that when that does happen, I need to recognize it and then move on to something else. So that's what I've been making an effort to do successfully. And I always say successfully because it's in this, and that's why it's in the success section here. But point being, so when I on this double page spread, I had the hills thrown in there. I had a couple of these weird looking mountain things in the background, and then I have the clouds right in the sky. So I didn't know what else I wanted to put on the page, and I started staring at it, and but I recognized what I was doing right away. So I stopped doing that immediately. I just stopped, and I said, okay, well, let's move on to something I do know that I want in here. And I think I moved on to coloring because at first it was just the sketch of the pencil layer. So I instead of just staring, I said, okay, well, let's just move on to coloring. So I started flatting it, and then I realized that I wanted the clouds to be the focal point of this. I wanted the clouds really to be a creature in and of themselves. So I just drew more. I drew this sort of cloud landscape that I described to you. So I created just through the process rather than stopping and thinking. I just kept going, and that gave me more ideas, and I kept building on it. So I really kind of let that creative process unfold into what the page is right now and what it's going to be. I built off what I'd already, so I built off what was already there instead of like waiting for an answer. Hopefully that makes sense. Because usually I'll stare and I'll just wait for the answer to come to me. But I figured, no, let's keep moving. And really, what I did was I created my own solution just through using my imagination. And the imagination was just inspired by what was already on the page that I could develop further. And yeah, so that was just the creative process of those two pages was just by doing, by by moving forward, and that's actually been a theme recently in the Discord community. Doing and figuring things out by doing, and not by thinking and planning and whatnot. So I'm really happy with the new process that I have that I'm just discovering, and I think it's something I could easily build on as I move forward. And it's I'm more productive because I'm not just sitting and waiting for an answer. I'm creating that answer just through the process. Community building successes. The podcast is performing, I would say, very well because I didn't know what it would look like 4 months, and I'm 4 months in, almost 4 months in. Yeah, almost 4 months in. So I didn't know what it would look like. I'm not getting enough listeners to get paid ads or anything like that. I'm not there yet. But in my opinion, it's performing well. There's people that are listening to everything, like not just one thing, but they're listening to everything, and that's just from them telling me like I binge listened to everything. Um, and the stats for each episode are very close. It's not like one is way more than everything else. Like people are tuning in for one episode they heard about and then not listening to everything else. That means when people are coming in and listening to one, they're sticking around for more, and that's amazing to me. So I think there's some good stuff happening. Stats wise, I was just a few shy, but I almost doubled the listens from the previous month. So last month I had a certain amount, and I'm sorry, 2 months ago I had a certain amount, and then last month I almost doubled that amount, which is pretty amazing, I think. And then before that, 3 months ago, or the 2 months ago, so that would be what the hell? This is June. So in May, I almost doubled the amount from April. And in April, I had increased it by 40% over March. So things are growing. I don't know how I can keep that pace going. Honestly, my best ideas right now are to land really incredible guests. And when I have guests that are incredible but unknown, to make sure I'm setting them up for great interviews, on my end. So I guess just keep doing what I'm doing at the best that I can. But beyond that, I don't know what else I can do. But yeah, I'll keep doing what I'm doing, and so hopefully that'll be enough for now. And if of course, if I have new ideas, I'll do them. But I'll definitely keep doing what I'm doing. Community building. Oh man, I talked with Lee Jeffrey again. That's the CEO of Comic Central. That was a really fun talk. That'll be up on Friday. We talked about the Killer Wolf Project. If you're in the Discord community, you've had access to the script and you've read it, or you might have read it already. But that's coming. The Killer Wolf Project is coming. The Killer Wolf Project is. I talked about this on one or two other podcasts, but the Killer Wolf Project, as we're calling it, is a script that I wrote out, unpaneled, very raw, and I'm just donating it to the independent community. It's called Killer Wolf. It's a very simple thing for beginners, or if you're, experienced and you want something just to kind of cleanse the palate, I think it's good for that too. So it's my gift to the independent community. You guys can do whatever you want with it. I don't care. And Comic Central has agreed to host this event, which is I'm really excited about. So the Killer Wolf Project, you'll be hearing more about that. I think pretty soon. Because Lee sounded like she was really excited about it and wanted to move forward. So this is just these are all wins for me. Strengthening my relationship with Comic Central, Art of Justin Prime and Comic Central. That's what I want. I want to have close ties with respectable brands like Comic Central. It's just that's great, And talking to Lee is always a fun thing for me. I also talked with her name's Kirsten. She does it sounds like a bunch of stuff through for Comic Central, but marketing is one of the things she's, I guess, really good at. And she and I had a really great talk about marketing and building a personal brand and how to be more personal. And this is all geared toward artists or creatives. And that'll be dropping on Wednesday. So that for me is a big win also. I want to do more stuff like that. I want to bring a variety of things to the table, or to your ears, I guess, that I know are like universal issues. So being more vulnerable, building a personal brand, marketing, these are all things that we wrestle with. So I want to keep doing things like that. And she and I had a great talk, and we set up. And I loved her for this. I'm like, so you want to do this again? And she goes, yeah. And she's like, let's schedule it right now, basically. So she's just on it. I loved it. So we're going to talk again this month, way more in depth, I think. But yeah, so all good things, right? So yeah, Killer Wolf, man, the Killer Wolf Project. That's an experimental thing. I don't know if anyone's done that before, and I think it'll be might be a first for the independent community to have something like that. I don't know, but I think it'll be a good thing. So keep your eyeballs open for that one, and your ears open as well. I'll let you know more when we get there. The blog, man, I got a lot of stuff going on here. I'm going way in depth for you guys this week. The blog is a new component, as I mentioned. I found my voice for now, maybe. I know my confidence is building, and that was my goal this week. I basically just started maybe 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And I need my confidence to build in this area. That means I need to just kind of put it out there and see what happens. And nothing happened. I don't know. No one's left any comments. No one's told me anything. Not much, a little bit. But the point, no matter what, it doesn't matter. The point is I need to just put it out there, write it and put it out there, and then do it again, and then do it again. So that's where I'm at. Like I said before, I was not happy with the first 2 topical pieces that I wrote out. So I decided I'm not ready for that yet. I need to switch it up and do what I can handle, and that's being me and sharing process. And so I'm doing that very literally. I'm doing a stream of conscience writing where I just write whatever's on my mind. And I write literally everything that I can think of, or I write everything that I am thinking. Let's put it that way. For 30 minutes. So for 30 minutes, I just type and type and type for 30 minutes straight, nonstop. Just whatever is popping into my mind, I put it down. I think it's actually kind of interesting. And you get a very personal look at me and kind of what goes through my head. And luckily, it's all been appropriate so far. But that can change real quick. Anyhow, this is the same process that I used to get ready for conventions and to build my confidence when it came to drawing in front of people, and to also build my speed. I've talked about the 30-minute challenge before. So I was like, I have this formula for building confidence and to get better. Why not apply this to my potential writing ability? So that's why I gave myself 30 minutes to write. And the great thing about the 30-minute challenge is it really eliminates the doubts and the insecurities, because you have to move quickly. So that's what it's doing. It's the same thing for writing. I have to type and type and type. I can't stop. So the feelings kind of go away, and it's just the thoughts now, and keeping up with, making my fingers keep up with my thoughts. So I think it's going the right direction. My confidence is increasing. The speed in which I'm writing is increasing, not literally like my fingers, but more like making decisions, writing them down, and then moving on. And it's helping me to declutter my thoughts too. I easily get stuck in like thinking mode and wondering mode. But when I write, lists or outlines or whatever, that helps. But I found out that just writing it out in this process, the stream of conscience process, is really helpful in decluttering my mind. Just like the podcast where I just talk, it helps me to declutter and focus on what's important. So, and also it forces me to excuse me, to be creative. This 30-minute writing thing, I have to be creative. I have to write. I have to create. I have to, I'm not doing this on a weekly, daily basis. It's just right now it's kind of as needed. So I did a couple, and as of right now, I'm doing okay. I might do another one tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. And what else is going well with the community building? Astropig Instagram, I think, is going well. I have almost 40 followers. It's only been a couple days. A bunch of people that were from my art account came over, which I appreciate. And a couple of new people have started following that account. The DMs are a lot of fun. So Astropig, like I've already kind of listed, the Astropig Instagram account is good. It's good times right now. It's all wins right now, I think. So the goals for the week, I will continue with my page rate completion, I guess. I have a good pace going here. I'm really happy with the result. It's quality, and I feel good about it. Can't ask for anything more. So I just want to continue with that pace. I want to continue with my social engagement. I've been doing a lot of that. I've been thanking every single person that follows me. I've been commenting on hashtag stuff that I'm looking up. I've been pretty darn active. I would like to do a couple more. I'd like to do some Juneteenth stuff weekly. I could do that. I'd like to do that. And I also want to line up a couple of people that can host the AstroPig account. I have one already in mind that's agreed to do it. So I'd like to find one or two more people that are willing to be or live with or have AstroPig live with you and your family, or you or whoever it is. For like a week, just post daily. I'd like to line up with a couple of people that would be willing to do that. So there you go. That's the artist inventory challenge for the week. Artist inventory challenge for the week. Sorry to put you through that. Good things. Overall, man, a lot of good things, I think. So I went way in depth. I think more in depth than I usually go, and that's what I want. So hopefully you guys didn't mind that. This is, again, another long episode, but whatever, it is what it is. The tools I'm using, I don't have any tools that really stuck out to me. Do I? I'm using the blog on Wix. There you go. How about that? I'm using the Wix blog. Wix has all these cool like apps in it. The blog is pretty darn good. I'm really happy with it. Yeah, it's cool. So there you go, the Wix blog. And someone in the Discord community actually asked recently about that and what platform they should use. I really recommend Wix, as I did, I think within the first few weeks of the tools I'm using, I'd recommended that. So Wix is really good, and I think pretty much all the platforms have their own blogging now and stuff. But yeah, the Wix blog, it's good stuff. All right. Who's following me? Justin, who's following you? You're wondering? This week I'll just mention Marcos MP _art. Let me get back to my right profile here. Back to the art of Justin Prime. So yeah, Marcos MP art. I think it's _art. Let me look that up and make sure. I wouldn't doubt, honestly, that if you're listening to this, you're probably following him. Yeah, Marcos MP _art. He's been a really cool follower of mine for quite a while. Active. I think he actually did years ago. I want to say he did at least one live streaming sketch, like, drawing kind of thing with me. Oh, sorry, I just noticed I can only record for an hour at most. But it says that on my screen, so I guess they're giving me a warning. Sorry. Yeah, Marcos MP _art. He seems like a good guy. Does lots of fan art. Got a bunch of followers. He looks very active. He's doing conventions. He's a talented artist. If you're not following him, I would recommend it. So Marcos MP Arts, and then also want to mention the same person who this is dedicated to, this episode, Staccato Studios, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. He gave me a follow. He DM'd him saying, "I appreciate the follow, thank you." And he wrote back saying, "Marcos MP Art showed me your profile, great stuff." So I'm glad that I DM'd him, because now I know that Marcos MP Art is at least sending one person my way. So thank you for that, man. That's incredible. Thank you so much for that. And I had to one up you, so I put you on the podcast. But your kindness, man, when people do kind things for me, I want to do kind things back. So I'm glad that I knew that. I'm glad that, God, what's his name? I'm glad that, sorry, I lost his name. Staccato Art? No, Staccato Studios. I'm glad that Staccato Studios told me about that. So both of you, thank you very much. It does mean a lot to me. Last week, the challenge was to draw in a new style. I did. I might have cheated a little bit. I was kind of interested in doing more realistic style, but I knew I wouldn't be able to give it the amount of time that it needed. And everybody else in the Discord community was doing like a chibi, plushy sort of style, and everyone was having a good time, so I had to get in on it. So I did these Astro Pig plushies. They're like these balls, basically, with feet hanging off the bottom and little stubby arms. I think I threw in there. So I did 4 different variations of the Astro Pig plushie, and through that, I want to have those. I want to see that. I want to see that come to life. So drawing that it helped me to envision merchandising for Astro Pig eventually. Not that I don't. And this is like whatever. Yeah. So it helps me to just imagine a bigger presence in the world that Astro Pig could have. So it was a great exercise, and it was really good for helping me kind of think outside of my own box, and to see a bigger goal. So yeah, lots of really fun, cool, cute, chibi kind of stuff in the community. I loved it. And now let's get to Lab 5's weekly challenge for this week.
Sup, Jprimecast, Luke here with a weekly challenge again. This week we're going to just do June 2018 with our good friend Harold George at Harrow Artist. So contribute where you can to June and support the initiative there and have a good time with your nostalgia. That's it. Nice and easy. See you later.
That is perfect, Luke. Thank you very much. I could definitely accept that one. I think I want to do Skeletor next. I did He-Man and Orko, and I want to do Skeletor next. Luke did a pretty. Oh, I can't. Let me choose my words carefully because I can't swear. A pretty darn good Skeletor. I think yesterday it came out really cool. So yeah, the June tune. Let's get on it, everybody, please. Excuse me. Thank you, Luke. Challenge accepted. The JP Weekly freebie. Each week I pick something from Comic Central from their free comics section. I get to see something new. There's cool story, cool art, interesting creators. Usually they're short things, not always. Last week, actually 2 weeks ago, the White Room was a long one, and it was awesome. And they're free. They're free, which is incredible. So this week, I want to bring your attention to Supernal event. Will Rodriguez Supernal event. I'm trying to see who drew the thing. I don't think it's all by one person. I wonder if it is. But I think it's all the way at the end here. Supernal event is artwork is pretty darn cool. Dang, who drew this? I don't see it. On the cover, all it says is Will Rodriguez. Is that what it was? Yeah, it says Will Rodriguez, Creative Zenith, Supernal Event, Book 1. Dang. All right. I might be missing it. Sorry if I am. But it's a cool story. It's good artwork. The story, you might think, Book 1, they're going to start off slow and work their way up to something big. But no. He's got gods, like, right off the bat. He just went he just went like all for it. So it's an epic storyline. Um, and it's cool. It's just I was really impressed with the story. I thought it was great. I'm definitely curious to read the next installment of it. The way it ends is not. I didn't expect it to end that way, and it's pretty darn cool. Yeah. So creativezenith.com. Check them out. Go to comicscentral.com. Download Supernal Event number 1 and give it a read. And let's see. All right, going back to my outline. Sorry, I'm not very good at transitioning, am I? All right, so that's it. That's the JP Weekly Freebie. And just so you know, just I'll keep putting this out there because I want people to join my community if they're a good fit. So if you're serious about drawing and growing, and you're open to getting feedback from people, like honest feedback, or you need some encouragement, or I don't know, whatever. I have a community. It's called the Jprimecast community. It's on Discord, and you're more than welcome to join. If you're not interested in growing, don't bother. Or if you're not interested in challenging yourself in new ways or being a part of a community, then yeah, I mean, it's not going to help you out. But if the stuff that I talk about on the podcast interests you and you feel like speaks to you, I think like you need to be in the community. We're looking for more people that are like us. I mean, it's a great group of people. Um, but I don't know who you are, so you have to let me know. So DM me. That's the best way, and then I'll send you an invite to the community because it's invite only. So just hit me up. I do want it to grow a little bit. I don't want it to grow too much. That's why it's closed. But it's for me, it's more about having the right people there. And right now, we have some really good people. There's no fee to join or anything like that. Just hit me up. So yeah, feel free to DM me at the Art of Justin Prime through Instagram. That's probably the best way. But otherwise, thank you so much for listening. Episode 15 is done.